Hey Yuns, welcome back to the channel. It's Gabe from Lung Farms. We're out here today. Josh is tedding a field that we cut yesterday, and I thought I'd take a minute to do a little bit of introduction for what's going to be our next video, our cows. So I've been wanting to do one for a while, so I thought now I would just maybe film this little introduction while he's over there tedding. So you may hear the tractor in the background. I'm going to be putting some footage in on this video that's going to be older footage. This is going to be footage that's going to be off of my iPhone. This is before I knew the ins and outs of making a YouTube video. So a lot of this was filmed vertically on my iPhone. And I want to introduce you to our herd. So we got our 2 cows. They were bred. We got them in 2024, in January of 2024. I believe it was January 6th. We bought them off of a fellow that had a very large herd. They were part of another herd from another farm of an older couple. They're Dexter cattle. That's what we raise. Our cattle are full-blooded registered Dexters. We bought 2 of them. They're dun colored. So they were already bred. We were under the understanding, and so was he, that they would not calve until April or March or April of 2024. So we get them beginning of January. We get them settled in. Our plans were to get the cow pasture ready before March. We were going to run a single strand of electric. We already have 5 to 6 strands of barbed wire. Some of it's old fencing, but that's been all repaired, restretched. Our plan was to run a single strand of electric wire down low just for the calves. So that way when they were born, there's no chance that it would discourage them from trying to slip out. And again, we were going to do that before March. January 29th, 2024. Josh's birthday, as a matter of fact. He comes home from work, and we have a shelter that we had built for him. And he sees with the binoculars from the house what he thinks appears to be a calf. He was correct. He starts texting all of us. One of them had their calf. Now, remember, we were thinking we had till March. So, surprise. A tradition of our family that my wife has always done on our kids' birthdays is she makes for them whatever their favorite meal is. She cooks for them. That was the plan for that night because it was Josh's birthday. And another tradition that we do when we have this dinner is we sit around and we talk about when they were born, what it was like going to the hospital and all the events, relive those memories, and they're great memories. And then we've also now got to share them with my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law. So that's just the family tradition that we've always done. So now this goes from, I was just getting off work at the same time as well, to a fast trip to Tractor Supply to get what we still needed. Oh, I think Josh is done tedding. Okay, he's done tedding. We're going to move on to the next field and I'll continue this. All right, little change of scenery. We're to the next field now. Josh is gonna ted, and I'll continue on. So where I left off, so January 29th, Josh's birthday, he gets home from work, we have a calf. So it turns into now us scrambling around to get together what we need to put this strand of electric wire up, so there's no chance of the calf maybe slipping through the barbed wire. So we spend the evening then running this strand of electric, putting our fence charger up. Needless to say, we did not make it back into the house. I believe it was probably almost 10 o'clock that night. So we gave him the name JP after Josh's initials because he was born on Josh's birthday, and I thought that was kind of special. The farm has always been his dream, and for him, it was a long time coming to get these cows. He's had the farm at this point. By the time we got the cows, he had the farm for 5 years. This was 5 years in the making to be prepared to have cows. We had already been doing meat chickens. We had already been doing pigs. So cows take more infrastructure. They take more, it's more involved. So this was not an overnight thing. We had to think this out, make arrangements for pasture area. So that was kind of special. I thought that the very first calf to Lung Farms would be born on Josh's birthday. JP ends up being, he's a done calf. So now we have the 3 of them. The one's still pregnant. Now, to give you the names, the cow that had JP, her name is Darlene. Darlene is a very good mama. She is very protective. Darlene would not allow us to get close at first. Now, before that, she's friendly, but with a calf now to look after, she is a very good mama. So Darlene's our one cow. The other cow, she is affectionately known as 25. And you might ask why, if we're affectionately calling her something, why is it a number? So we affectionately call her 25. So you might ask why. So the reason being is the fella that we bought them off of, we got to look at the whole herd and pick out the ones we wanted. We knew we wanted 2. What we liked about it was they were already bred. That's the way that he advertised them. They were registered. Perfect. So me, Josh, and Kenna, my daughter-in-law, we all make a trip that January day to go check out this herd. Now, mind you, Kenna was pregnant. So this was January. She would have our grandson in April. So it was a cold day. It was muddy and wet. So we look at the whole herd. We went back and forth on a few different ones. He had a list of which ones were already spoken for. So we finally settled on Darlene and this number 25. He goes on to tell us that he had 3 cows out of this herd when he acquired them. After he acquired them, 3 of them, their name tag fell out. He still had the name tags. The name tags were Dixie, Diamond, and Helen. So he tells us she's one of those 3. So, but we get them loaded, and before we get them loaded, he takes a hair sample and shows us how to do it. He takes a hair sample and he's going to send it off to UC Davis out in California. It's there in Texas A&M. That's the 2 places in the country that do the genetics for the Dexters. So he uses UC Davis. He tells us he's going to send it off. When he gets the results and knows who it is, then he will tell us. In the meantime, he does the transfer and the paperwork and everything for Darlene. Josh gets a hold of him, and there was some confusion. At first, we were told she was Dixie, but then he got back the same information for one of the other two that were missing the name tag. So we've never really found out who she is. She's still 25 to us. We don't have a head shoot yet. That's on our list of things to get, is a head shoot. So it's very difficult for us to be able to pull a hair sample. The easiest place to get it is out of their ball of hair at the end of their tail, and not having a head shoot, that's not the easiest thing to do. Mind you, our cows are very friendly. When we take a bale into them, or if we go into the pasture, they all come up to us. So it's not that we can't get our hands on them. So we've never done that. And the reason being is this. So Darlene has JP on January 29th. It was not until April 17th that 25 had her calf. Lo and behold, it's a bull calf. We were really hoping for heifers right off the bat, because we would double our herd. And that's our whole goal. We bought 2 bred cows. We thought if we could possibly have 2 heifers, we will keep them. Then we will acquire a bull. We did not register JP or Tuffy because we made them into steers. And because that's also the other end goal with acquiring our own herd, our own Dexters, was to raise them to sell the beef. So we're like, okay, we had 2 bull calves, we'll make them into steers. So we had really no urgent need to find out what 25 was. September 28th of 2024, we bought our first bull so we could rebreed our 2 cows. So we made the trip to West Virginia and we bought Bud. Bud is our bull. Bud is, I believe, 5 years old. Darlene, when we bought her, was 7 or 8 years old. I'd have to ask Josh where we could look on her paperwork. She's 7 or 8. 25, she could either be 7 or 8 years old, just like Darlene. If she would be, her name would be Dixie or Diamond, because the farm that they came from named all of their cows after the same first letter for each year. So if she was Dixie or Diamond, she's the same age as Darlene. If she's Helen, then she would be younger. We seem to think that she might be Helen. She looks younger to us. So anyways, that's the ages of our 2 cows and our bull. Bud steps foot onto the farm out of the livestock trailer for the first time, and it was really neat. He comes out of there, he struts around. I'll play the footage as I am explaining this. He looks around and then he just bellows out to what will be his new herd. That's his new herd. That's them 2 cows and them 2 calves, them 2 steers. And they answer and they come to greet him. Bud is very gentle. Don't get me wrong, he's powerful. He's very strong and powerful, but he's very gentle. He's not giving us any problems whatsoever. When you bring a round bale in with the tractor and he decides he wants to roughhouse that bale, you're going to feel it. He's going to lift the back end of the tractor off the ground. And again, though, he's just playing around. We witness him breeding both Darlene and 25 over the next 2 weeks. So our hopes are, yes, we're going to have our first calves bred on the farm by our bull. So we figure up the dates, and we figure that middle of July to the beginning of August is when they would calve. We were really hoping for July, because if you've seen the video, the earlier video that I posted of the Ohio Valley Antique Machinery Show, the Ovum, we attend that, and that's always in the beginning of August. So we really wanted them to calve in July so that we could get them settled in and everything before our time away. We have someone that takes care of the farm and watches the farm and everything for us. They're there while we're away, but we didn't want to put an extra burden on them if they would be chasing some calves that decided to get out. The unique thing about that, the day they were born. So they were born July 8th, 2025. That's our calves for this year. Exciting time. We actually we've been watching them. I mean, both of them had really bagged up. Their bag was really big. They were starting to swell in the back end, and we knew it was getting close. July 8th, we go to make a hay delivery. And this one was somewhat local. We didn't have to go very far. We go deliver those, and those square bales are actually ones from I'll reference another video. That was from when we baled on July 4th. If you watched that video, the bearing went out on the round baler and we had to finish up with our 14T. We went and delivered 100 of them July 8th. We come back home as we're cruising past, slowing down to turn in onto the road to the farm. We're going past the cows. We look in the cow pasture, and Josh says, "I just saw a calf." I said, "You did?" He said, "Yes. It looked like a red calf." So we stop and we look, and lo and behold, there stands, wet like it had just been born, there stands a red calf. Very exciting. We're looking around, we're checking it out as close as we can get at the time. Again, this calf is standing beside Darlene. But when we look at 25, she looks like she's got the afterbirth on her backside. So it was kind of confusing, because it's like, why is the calf standing with Darlene? Now, I will say this, those two cows are as protective over each other's calves as they are their own. Once 25 had Tuffy, or before she had Tuffy, she was just as protective over JP as if JP was hers. So it's like, okay, Darlene is being a good mama of the herd and watching this calf. Well, what concerned me is 25, well, I mean, she left. She went across the creek and away. Like she wasn't cared, or didn't care about her calf. So that concerned me. I thought, I hope this is going to be a situation where she's just going to abandon this calf, because Darlene's going to be having a calf of her own. So the pasture needed clipped. And you'll see in some of the pictures that I'm posting along with while I'm talking, the pasture needed clipped. And so Josh, we go over to the farm, we tell Kenna, she comes over with Brantley, we're checking out the new calf from a distance, call my wife, my daughter, my son-in-law, everybody knows that we just had the calf. So number 25, in the midst of all this, we're watching the new little red heifer calf. It's staying close to Darlene's side. And 25 crosses the creek. But she's the one that looked like she had afterbirth on her backside. So Josh is, meanwhile, bush hogging and clipping down the cow pasture, because it was tall. Especially now having a new calf in there. We wanted it to be kind of clipped down kind of low, so it's easier to see the calf and see what's going on. In the meantime, I crossed the creek and I was just keeping an eye on 25. And I felt like she looked like she was in labor. So the first thing that came to my mind is, did she have the red calf and she's having twins? But she wasn't that large. She didn't look like, when she was pregnant, didn't look big enough to be carrying twins. She looks like she may be in labor. She lays down, and when she lays down, I could tell then she was pushing a calf. So I get my phone out, and I'll have the footage playing here, and lo and behold, she gives birth right there in front of me to this black calf, which is another first for us. I mean, our first two calves were JP and Tuffy, and they were dun colored. And now, on the same day, we have a red calf born and a black calf born. So both on the same day. So very unique situation. We were thrilled, and I got it all on video. It's not the greatest video because I was a distance from her in the pasture. I didn't want to bother her, but you'll see in the video, she starts to push as she's laying down. As the calf comes out, she stands up and drops the calf. So that was another special moment on the farm. So I feel like our first two calves, JP especially, being born on Josh's birthday, was very special and unique. And then now our two calves that were bred by the bull that we bought for the farm, and the first two calves from his offspring that he's throwing, were both born on the same day, a red one and a black one. So the black one was a little bull calf, and the red one's a heifer calf, and they're very pretty, especially that heifer. She's very filled out, very full now that she's a couple months old. So I wanted to just take this opportunity in this video to introduce you to our herd, because I want to keep you current as to the things that's going on around the farm as they happen. So I thought I'd just show you a current. This is Tuffy right here. It is so dry out. Grass is getting so sparingly, we've actually started giving him a few bales. So this would be a good opportunity for you to get a good look at all of them. So right here, there's 25. We got to treat their fly rub because the flies have gotten bad. Right there, that is JP. He's got the curly, his forehead's curly. Should have named him Curly. There is Darlene. You can see her name tag. And right here, there's the little red heifer. There's Bud. He's come up and joined. So that's Bud. Darlene, 25. JP's trying to nose his way in there. Tuffy's around here. And I'm going to slip around, and there's the little black bull calf right there. But he's turning a little bit reddish, a little reddish colored. And look at that pretty little red heifer. She is pretty. They are two pretty calves. Born the same day, which I think that is pretty amazing. And they are best buddies. They are best buddies. And I failed to mention Bud. He's a red bull. He's red. So The others are all duns, and Bud is red. And he is also registered. So the plans are, we are going to bail tomorrow, and then we've got 2 small fields left. Laney's going to be born any day now, and we've got the fencing almost done on another section that we can move them into to get them on some green grass, because we're in what would be the beginnings, the early stages of a drought again. Very little rain in the forecast. It's showing some rain coming up this Wednesday, and so that's why their pasture is just 8 down. So these 2 have been more skittish. We have not had a chance to be as hands-on with these 2 calves as we were JP and Tuffy. So they're not quite used to us yet. They don't know what to think of Josh. So the plan will be, we're going to band him, make him a steer. She we will keep, and she will be our 3rd cow that's hopefully going to produce for us a lot of baby calves in her lifetime. I just wanted to take this opportunity to share with you our small little herd, and I sometimes catch myself saying herd because I feel like they're not a herd yet, but there are 7 of them. I appreciate you tuning in and watching this video, especially if you watched it till the end. And I hope it makes it a little bit more personal, that you know now when I show clips or footage as we're driving by on the tractors and show you footage of the cows, now maybe you might know their names, and you might know how we got started into Dexter's. If you like the video, please like it. If you haven't subscribed already, I encourage you to subscribe. And we really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend some time with us. And we'll see you on the next video.